Everyone, it's Kelsey here, and today I have another mixed media tag for you guys. So you can see the photo right there. That is my inspiration from Tim Holtz for the March 2015 tag. And I'm I definitely you can see the inspiration, but I went a couple of different ways. First of all, I started my background using distress paint just like he did, except I decided to go with more of a blue. I wanted to go with more of a dark like teal or turquoise, but I didn't have the right colors. So then I was trying to go with like a bright blue green, and it didn't end up exactly how I wanted it to just because I don't have the colors that I wanted. Um, if anything, I would say Tim Holtz needs to come out with a rich like emerald color because that's really what I was needing. But so I take a little bit to do my background, but instead of having gold embossing paste, I'm going to go with copper. And I have seen some beautiful images of copper and turquoise, or copper and emerald, or copper and teal, whatever color you want to call it. Just a really rich green or a blue green and copper. And I really think copper might be the new, like, it color or it metallic. I've seen a lot of copper lately, and I had some copper embossing powder on my desk that I wanted to play with. So that's kind of where my color inspiration came from. And then after I painted it, I realized I forgot to put on washi tape like Tim Holtz had done on his background. So I decided to go back and I put some tape on there, and then I just put a little paint over it, and it looks just fine. You can't really tell that I did it afterwards. So, yeah, just putting a little bit of tape, and that is tape from Tim Holtz. Um, I'm pretty sure it's kind of that tissue tape, so it's a little bit thinner than regular washi tape, but I really like it. The designs are great for mixed media because they've got like the text and just different prints on them. So then I'm starting out with this texture paste. This is also from Ranger. I love this stuff. It doesn't dry out like my old embossing paste used to. It's just got great texture, and it was actually pretty affordable. I want to say that like, little container was like $4, and a lot of embossing paste is $7 or $8 for that size. So definitely a good deal. And then I'm just gonna put it through this. It's kind of like a diamond pattern. I've actually had this for years, this mask or this stencil. But some of the diamonds are worn away, so it's kind of more like a harlequin. I don't know. Anyway, I do like the pattern, but it's one that I don't use a ton. It's the way I feel about all my stencils. Whenever I have stencils um, in my stash, I love them, but it's hard to pick out a good stencil because, of course, you're always drawn to like the cute things like hearts or triangles or something. But a lot of times, the stuff that looks best is stuff that you might not like as a foreground, but most stencils are in the background, if that makes sense. So, anyway, here I'm going to use this copper embossing powder and just making sure to cover all of the embossing paste. And I let it dry for a few minutes while I worked on other aspects because if you do heat emboss it too soon, the paste will bubble. It might end up bubbling a little bit, but I actually liked that effect. So, yeah, anyway, you'll see that in a minute. For now, I've got this butterfly die. This is from Stampin' Up. I love it. It comes with three butterfly dies, two that are smaller and one that is larger. And then the larger one and this one both have this very intricate pattern to them. They're just gorgeous. So I decided to print it out on black, or to cut it out in black. And for some reason, I thought that Flutter collection from Fancy Pants had a black paper in there, but it didn't. But luckily, I found a piece of paper in my stash. And the only bad thing about this stencil is it takes a little bit to poke all the little intricate pieces out, but they pop right out. It's really not a problem. It just makes a little bit of a mess and a little bit more work. And on the larger ones, sometimes it's easier to cut it out with wax paper behind it. It cuts out a little bit smoother. Um, but I had actually forgotten to do that, and mine turned out just fine. So, plus this cardstock was maybe a little bit thinner than some regular like card making cardstock or Stampin' Up cardstock, so that probably helped. So I'm going to set that off to the side. Here you can see the three dies that you get. They're just beautiful. And then I had gotten these word tags from Tim Holtz probably a few weeks ago. They're just great to have to use on any mixed media project when you just want like a little sentiment and you don't want to have to stamp something out. So I'm going to use one of them, and here I'm testing to see if my paste was dry, and it really wasn't. Obviously, it needs to set for a while longer, but I'm super impatient. It did bubble up, but again, it kind of flattens back out, and I liked the effect of it, and I thought the blue green color with the in the background with the copper on top really looked pretty, and it looks even prettier in person because you see the shiny metallic copper. And of course on here it's a little bit more um, brown looking. So I'm going to adhere my butterfly with this Glossy Accents. And this is where I had kind of deviated from Tim Holtz's design, is because he had done some stamping and masking, but I don't have a butterfly stamp and I didn't have masking paper. And so luckily I just happened to have this butterfly die. And it was kind of sitting on my desk, so it was just perfect. I had just gotten it really recently and I love it. So it was fun to use some of my new product. And then while I was searching for something in my stash, I found this copper wire that I had gotten for my mermaid project this past summer, and I had tons of it left, obviously. So I just put it on that side of the tag and put it on the other side and looped it through, and that is how I attached that metal tag quote piece to my layout, and then the copper ties back that copper embossing paste or embossing powder. So it ties that color back in. So I actually really like the way this turned out. And I'm looking because I feel like it needs something else. Tim Holtz had a few more trinkets on his, but I just didn't have a lot that I thought would work well with it. So it took me a minute, but I'm going to go through this collection. These are the products from the Shine collection, or not collection, but the Shine class kit from Studio Calico. And I thought maybe some of it would work because I knew it had a lot of copper in the kit. And it had those copper sequins and gold stars. So it had a lot of metallics because that was the basis of the class. But I just didn't really feel like that's what I wanted. So then I remembered that this Dear Lizzie Serendipity collection had a lot of rose gold, which rose gold and copper have similar feels to them, or similar looks. So I decided to go with that, and in person it looks closer in color than it does here on the screen, actually. And I wasn't going for a perfect match. I just wanted a couple of little things just to kind of fill out the card, and luckily I found everything that I needed in the Serendipity collection. So I went with those two sticker hearts, and I am going to attach those with Glossy Accents because I think just due to all the paint in the background and probably maybe leftover embossing paste or embossing powder residue, they just didn't want to stick as well. So I find this little heart-shaped key and the heart stickers, and those are all rose gold and they're all just plain stickers, and I just adhere those down with Glossy Accents. So that is going to pretty much wrap up my March 2015 tag. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and make sure to hit the subscribe button to see more soon. I'm kind of struggling with the concept for the April tag, but I will have a video to share with you this month. Thanks so much, guys.